Hey everyone. So today we're going to be talking about some compliance 101 just to get on the same page about what are these compliance frameworks that we hear, why are they important to the different businesses and the different industry segments, and then ultimately how can we help along their journey. Compliance is showing up everywhere. Organizations, big and small, all have different types of data that they're trying to protect, and their customers and partners and different entities are trying to figure out, are they secure? Are they operating in good faith? And are they running their technology platforms and systems and working with service providers that can make sure that their data is safe? And it doesn't matter whether it's healthcare data and PHI, protected health information, or if it's credit card data and PCI with the payment card industry. At the end of the day, all the data is really important to keep safe and secure. So in every industry that you can see on the screen here on the left, there are corresponding compliance frameworks on the right, which are the most popular that show up in those compliance environments for that entity. So for example, companies operating in technology or building a SaaS solution are most commonly going to see PCI, GDPR, SOC 2, ISO. You can see it on the list. You don't need to read them to you. A couple of just terminology things in case you're not familiar with them. PCI, again, is the payment card industry. Think of this as swiping your credit card, and those ID, the numbers on your credit card and the expiration date, that sort of thing, are all what make you in scope for PCI. Some companies, just because their technology doesn't mean they're going to have this exposure to this compliance framework, right? If you're not collecting credit card information, or you're not doing any sort of financial transaction on your technology platform, you're most likely not going to be in scope for PCI. There's even gotchas or middle ground where maybe you're using a provider like Stripe to collect all of your payment information. Stripe itself is collecting the credit card info. And so they're going to be the ones that are in scope for that primary load of PCI. And then you're making sure that what you're doing outside of that is safe and secure and compliant. So there are different nuances to these different compliance frameworks. I will say that the most frequent that we see here in the US is going to be SOC 2 and ISO. Both of these standards are going to look holistically across an organization's environment. And if you're SOC 2 type 1, you're basically saying that you have the steps and the processes, you have an incident response plan, you're maintaining and managing credentials against a set of guidelines that SOC 2 has identified. SOC 2 type 2 is where not only are you saying it, but you're putting it into work, and there's an auditor looking at your environment and saying, yes, not only these folks say that they're doing the right things, but we actually see auditable proof that they are doing the right things. As we move further down, big one in the federal government, CMMC, we continue to see customers that come into scope for CMMC and FedRAMP as they're working with the government entities. If you are a third-party contractor for the federal government, CMMC is a do not pass go without. That has been a tricky framework over the past several years and quarters because it is a bit of a moving target. But ultimately, the federal government is wanting their third-party contractors. It doesn't matter whether you're the HVAC technician or whether you're providing technology services. They want to see that you're doing the right things, and CMMC is one of those items. In healthcare, HIPAA is huge. So again, keeping patient data safe and making sure that you're compliant using services that are within that healthcare HIPAA framework. There's also a concept of a BAA or a business associate agreement where healthcare entities will want organizations like Align Technology Group or AWS to sign that business associates agreement, making sure that they understand their responsibility in the steps of protecting patient health data. So a very common item here. NYDFS, we see a lot of times for financial and insurance organizations that might have some sort of operating footprint inside of the state of New York, where there's additional compliance requirements, having a CISO on staff and meeting the needs of that program. And then obviously within manufacturing, again, if you're building a widget for the government, or if you're just building solutions in general, a lot of times your customers will be asking about some of these frameworks here. So again, nice little cheat sheet to try to button up the different frameworks, the terms themselves that you might hear and where they fall. Within AWS, there is a program called the Global Security and Compliance Acceleration Program. We at Align Technology Group are a part of this program. We had to go through a an audit process basically to show and manufacture the insights that AWS was looking for, to basically say, hey, we're a services partner that not only knows what we're doing, but we have the frameworks and the resources and the capabilities to execute to support these customers. GSCA is a global program. We work a lot with organizations in North America across financial services, healthcare, public sector, and then just general technology privacy use cases. But they are also providing resources to organizations in EMEA and Asia Pac, and these different regions across the globe. Their team has specialists and individuals that can get engaged and help customers navigate the compliance frameworks and making sure that their solutions built on AWS are compliant. But then they also rely on partners like us at Align Technology Group to help deliver end-to-end solutions for these AWS customers so that they're successful. GSCA is a small team, and there's many AWS customers, and so that need for partner support is normal. Also, there's certain things here that AWS will not do, such as the actual audit or pen testing, and even some of these advisory services, which they would rely on a partner to support the customer for. To break down these services that you're going to see commonly across all compliance customers, and I really love this slide because it does help logically break this effort down. At the end of the day, you need to provide some sort of evidence collection. That could be through Excel spreadsheets. It could be through platforms like Vanta or Drata. We at Align partner with Vanta very heavily and closely. There's custom integrations within AWS and other third-party platforms to be able to grab all of that information very quickly, grab the information out of your HR system, your finance system, background checks, whatever the case may be, and be able to make it a lot easier on the compliance leader as they're trying to pull together these many different pieces of information across many different portions of your organization. Also, during this stage, there's a lot of discussion around what do we need? Where are our gaps? Are we ready to go on this compliance journey, or do we need to get business buy-in to create some additional documentation along the way? So as we move into advisory, we have some compliance consultants on our team that will help perform those gap assessments and readiness assessments. They'll also work with the team to make sure that if there are any remediations in the environment, those are called out where, hey, we need to put in some sort of identity and access solution and we don't have one today, or maybe you've never done a vulnerability assessment or pen test before, and just trying to understand what the scope of that needs to be and who needs to be involved. From the hands-on help, again, we're going to introduce engineers and architects from our team or AWS or from your side on the customer side to be able to augment what's already happening in place, conduct things like the well-architected framework review, potentially address some of those remediations by putting in new controls like AWS services that can help provide the additional visibility or capability that's needed, and ultimately get the evidence collection platform like Vanta to show the progress and continue to chip away at these items. From the fourth side here on the audit side, we're going to introduce an audit partner. Today, we partner with an organization to conduct those audits from an outside third party. We also work with customers, auditors, to be able to help make sure that the compliance team has what they need, potentially, conduct some sort of pre-audit checklist or mock audit to get the team ready, and then get them to a place where they can present up their evidence and get to a place where they're, getting reports issued. This can be across things like CMMC and SOC 2 and the different frameworks. And then last listed here, which will be done before the audit's actually conducted, but penetration testing. So again, trying to identify where are the gaps in the environment, what do we need to shore up and close? Because ultimately these compliance frameworks are looking at how do we keep this data safe and secure, and make sure that we're not introducing any sort of vulnerability if someone trusts to work with us. We do keep a large portfolio of third-party ISVs to work with to be able to solve the different challenges that are brought up by these different compliance frameworks. So as mentioned before, we work with integration platforms, but then we also work with things like cloud security posture assessment tooling. There could be, end user security awareness training here. There could be email security partners, all sorts of different partners to be able to help observe, manage, and support the compliance framework. And from Align Technology Group's perspective, ultimately, we're bringing the resources to the table to be able to help introduce these resources to customers and also execute and implement them so that this customer can move through that compliance framework on a much more quick and efficient way and not have to figure out like what to do and where to go and how to do it. So hopefully this was a quick and easy way to get up to speed on the different compliance frameworks that are out there based on technology vertical, the program GSCA, Global Security Compliance Acceleration initiative that's inside of AWS and the resources that are out there, and then also the ways in which we engage and work with companies when they're going down their compliance journey. A couple of things to check out. We have a fast track to compliance marketplace listing on AWS Marketplace, which is a great place to see something that we've built out there to make it really easy to work within the different compliance frameworks inside of AWS at speed. And then also, obviously, talking with our team and understanding the different platforms that are available and supplemental tools is another great way to see how we can help. Have a good one.